Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we've got week 2 of the Zwift Racing League 2024 season, and you're not going to want to miss the end of this race. I was super pleased with it. Probably, I would say, the best thing that I've ever done in a Zwift Racing League race. And the basis for my video today is actually having a very good strategy for the kind of power that I can put out. So not everyone that races in Zwift will have a mega sprint or be able to hold a really high wattage. And as I am new to the category, I'm going to have to think differently and come up with a really good strategy to get the highest kind of position that I possibly can get. And I will talk you through in this video what exactly I did to finish up, in my opinion, as high up as I possibly could have done. So today is a points race around Makuri Island's Island Hopper, and there are 5 sprint segments. So I was initially pretty nervous about this race because I'm not excellent when it comes to sprinting and recovering, as we initially come through the first sprint here. Now my plan was to try and get some points on this one, and as I roll across the line, I have used a match definitely, but yeah, I am across the line with the 7th fastest time. So in terms of job number 1, is a massive tick. I've managed to get some points on the first sprint effort, but as you can see here, I'm kind of slipping towards the back a little bit, and now I'm not exactly in a great frame of mind. I am hurting quite significantly, and I know that the next sprint is unfortunately just around the corner. So now I'm just thinking about holding on for as long as possible until I can fully recover. So here we are coming up to the second sprint here, so I do give it a little bit of an effort, but you can see they're kind of getting off the front here, and I'm kind of mid-pack at the moment, which is not really the position I want to be in, but there will be a natural selection. So I'm trying to just do my best to stay with the front group, but at the same time I'm not mega worried if I fall back a little bit, because I know that I won't be able to keep up this pace, and what I don't want to do is be in no man's land. So as you can see there, the group has gone. There was nothing I could do about it. I'm just not strong enough, as those competitors are. So all I've got here is a group of 3 or 4 that we're sort of bunching up with now, that I just want to hold on to for as long as possible and see if we can maybe create our own little mid-pack group. And then within this group, I'm going to try and finish up, as high up as I possibly can do. So we're just coming up this climb here. It's not the longest climb in the world, and through this next sprint segment here, where once again my job was just to hold on to these 3. And as you can see, as we're going along here, I am sitting towards the back of this pack, so I'm trying to save as much energy as I possibly can, because I don't want to be at the front chasing. I think there's a little group up in front, and we're slowly making our way across to them. But there's no need to jump across. There's no need to burn a match to do that. We might as well just wait until it kind of naturally comes together, which is right here. Let's look at what I've done so far. Got some points in one of the sprints, and I've now found myself a nice little group, as these couple of riders just kind of have a little push away from this sprint. Now, I don't actually think there's any particular main advantage of sprinting in this size pack, in this kind of mid-bunch. I don't think we're likely to get fastest through the line, but as I say, like, people can obviously do what they want, and fair plays if they want to go for the little sprint, but it's not for me. I'm just now trying to think about finishing as high up as I possibly can in this race. Now, because there are quite a few competitors in this one, or in this little group, I think it goes as low as, or as high as 30, and as low as, I think, 19th position, 20th position. So I know there's some decent points on hand. Now we're coming through these sprint segments again, and all I'm doing at this point is keeping an eye on the number of people that get up ahead of me, because if the group ahead gets too big, I don't want to miss out and be on a little split. So you can see here I'm kind of managing it the best that I can. I roll through to the front just to make sure that no one kind of pushes on. And another interesting point, and something that I was doing, was just checking when people were using their power-ups. Now, the majority of them were actually using their power-ups during the sprint segments, which is fine, but there are a couple going off. So like now, for example, and for me, it's just making sure that I'm keeping an eye on to see, who's tired in the group, as we come through the next sprint segment. Now this is kind of a bit of a key one for me here. So obviously we're almost midway through lap 2, and someone goes off ahead. They're just coming through the finishing banner here, but I'm staying with the group because there's no way that person is going to get away from a group this large with 7.8 miles left to go. And that person slows up and they're just going to get caught back or brought back into the group. So for me, I'm just keeping an eye on that and just looking at what the pack around me is doing, and maybe thinking that there could be an opportunity later on for me to perhaps burst away from the pack, because people might assume that I will do the same and fall back into the pack. But actually what I'm thinking of is on the last sprint, maybe do a little bit of an attack and see if I can hold away the group, because the last sprint is actually only about a mile from the finishing line. And, you know, I think that's probably going to be the best way for me to win in terms of this little group. Now, the other thing just to call out here is last week in ZRL, I was in a similar sized group, and actually I've managed to finish pretty much second last in that kind of mid-pack group. So I definitely had to do something different this week in order to kind of change my position, because my sprint, as I say, my sprint didn't work at all. So luckily for me in this little sprint here, nobody has decided to kind of go away. Everyone's staying together, so we're all saving quite a bit of energy. And for me, that was the main point. If I'm going to make this little breakaway in a short while, I need to stay at the back. I need to save energy, otherwise I'm just going to get caught. And for me, I'm thinking I'm going to need, I don't know, between 10 and maybe 20 seconds of a gap, you know, with probably about 1,000 feet to go before, you know, I can begin to celebrate perhaps a breakaway win. So once again, we're just coming up to the last sprint here, and this is it. This is where I'm going to make my attack, or I'm going to try and make my attack. So in the bunch, I come through like I'm pretending to just go for the sprint, so sneaking away here. And what I'm hoping is that everybody else will just think that I've gone for the sprint and nothing else. But what I actually do at this point is try and hold around about 330 watts, which for me is around 4.5 watts a kilogram, for the next 1.3 miles. I'm just keeping an eye all the time on the leaderboard on the right hand side, just to see if anyone's trying to make that effort across to me. But I've already got 5 seconds now with a mile to go, and it's creeping up all the time. As you can see, there are a few little squirts from the group behind trying to maybe launch a counter attack, but I've got that kind of magical 10 seconds now, or over 10 seconds with 0.6 miles to go, and this is absolutely killing me at this point. I was in absolute agony, but I really wanted this to pay off. I really didn't want to slip back into the group and, you know, slip back down to 30th position. So with 8 seconds now, 7 seconds, they are creeping back, but I've done a really good job, I think, to hold on to that 330 watts, and I crossed the line for 19th position. So I was really happy with that result. The team itself did really well. We finished in 3rd place, but I was happy with, as I say, 19th position. I got 4 fastest through segment points. So I'm pretty happy with the 23 points that I picked up there. And that was literally the best that I could have done, I feel. As a team, we're 2nd place in the league, which is amazing. Yeah, looking forward to seeing if we can push this one on and try and take 1st place next week. And as you can see, that's the Zwift power leaderboard there. So 272 normalised power, but I had some PBs for 3-minute power there over the last 42 days. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next one.